Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin bubble news channel. In 2008, the debt cycle was a lot like the end of the banking system. We all knew this point would come, where it would be like, you can't have this much power, pay attention to what's going on. We're spreading power around. People can now have the power source in their homes. That's why you don't need the big storage. A lot of people say that you can't scale solar, at least at the house level. It's likely possible at the village level. In a world full of robots and AI, nature will be worth a lot more than it is now. What do you want to be when you grow up? Ask a young child right now. I want to be an influencer, they'll say. We ask ourselves, are you crazy? But what is an influencer if not a community leader? If they have a group of people who follow them, they may already be adapting. In Fortnite, they did it. They have also done it in video games. But in the end, what people want is to experience being with other people. Bitcoin bubble stands out because it is clear and easy to understand. There's no limit to who can join, no matter how much they know about crypto or how new they are to it. Guess who is watching us now? Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We'd also like to thank everyone who put their trust in us. We read all of your comments, and the best part is that it's free. If you sign up now, you'll get all the new information for free. Stay ahead of the trends instead of just following them. Sign up for Bitcoin Bubble right now and enjoy the new edge. The 2008 financial meltdown was exactly what Raoul Pal, CEO and co-founder of the global macro investor and Real Vision Group, said it would be. We talk about the main differences between the crashes of 2000 and 2008, why decentralizing power is important, what role AI plays, and why communities are important for making real bonds between people in a world that is changing quickly. Something is strange about everything, Cardinal. Tell me what it is. It's strange that it makes everything so easy. It's too easy. This is something that most people think is impossible. In the world of Bitcoin, we kind of knew it because we could see a cycle building. We've been following this cycle like it was nothing more than the halving cycle. And we're not sure. After looking more closely, I found that the business cycle was just right. I used the ISM poll to find the business cycle, and it was wonderful. That seems strange to me. If you remember, before 2008, there were long stretches of no recession followed by short ones. It was all over the place. But all of a sudden, it sounds like a clock. I wonder what that's all about. I finally came to the conclusion that 2008 was the big reset. It was the one that everyone was waiting for. What they did was pretty much they told everyone that they don't have to pay interest on any of their loans. That meant there were no interest rates. Next, they tried the new method of quantitative easing, which is to print money. Now, that made it possible for every important government in the world to refinance all of their debts over the next 3 to 5 years. That's what they all did. It made the business cycle go in a 4-year loop. Then, the prices of all assets are linked. This is true for tech, Bitcoin, the economy, and all other assets. They are all affected by the same cycle, which is the presidential election cycle and the Bitcoin half cycle. It's all the same. That makes the game a lot easier once you know it. This won't last forever. But for now, everything seems to be going just right. One of these cycles can be broken down into 4 parts, which I call seasons. So we have winter. Do you want to call it crypto or macro? That was in 2022. That was in 2018. That was in 2014. That's 4 years, for the second week in a row. Bitcoin's price ended the week below its exponential moving average EMA, which is 200 days. But in the last 24 hours, it has gone back up above $60,000. Several charts show that long-term users are still not worried about how the price is moving right now. Is it possible for prices to go up after August? In 2024, the price of Bitcoin has only dropped below the 200-day EMA 3 times. The first negative close below the 200-day EMA happened on July 4th, as shown in the chart below. It took less than 10 days for the BTC-USD pair to get back above the EMA. This time, the asset was below the sign for less than 24 hours before it went back above it. This shows that bullish momentum is slowly building up this week. There are 2 types of Bitcoin investors: short-term holders STAS and long-term holders altis. They trade in different ways and at different times. STAS are investors or traders who do day trading or scalping with the goal of making quick profits in a short amount of time. A lot of these are small businesses or people with low to medium net worth. Aliens, on the other hand, are buyers who plan to buy and hold stocks for at least 6 months. Many of these groups are made up of wealthy people or big businesses, especially now that Bitcoin ETFs are available. According to new information, the LTA's realized market capitalization change had a net positive value of $3 billion, which was seen in December 2023. The realized cap for Bitcoin is the total amount of money that has been made and lost. To put it another way, all of the value has moved into the Bitcoin on-chain. The amount of money that is lost. A crypto expert named Amtaha pointed out the above change in realized market cap and said that it shows that even though STA is selling more, LTH is still buying up while STA is selling for less. Spring comes next. At that point, no one really thinks that anything is changing, but prices start going up. Yes, Bitcoin did really well in 2023, even though most people didn't think it would. Shoots start to grow in the spring, and then it gets warmer. This year, which is an election year, is summer, and that's when the debt starts to be refinanced. To pay for it, they have to use cash on hand because the GDP isn't growing fast enough to cover the interest on the debts. Because of this, they keep putting off paying these debts and turning the interest payments into cash. This causes the value of the currency to drop by about 8% a year on a world scale. So there will be a global fall next year, and then the cycle will top out, and we'll do it all over again because it's based on the debt refinancing cycle. There are two ways to look at this 8% drop in the value of the coin. You have a good point when you say we're being robbed of our future wealth. Your future self is getting poorer because you won't be able to buy as many things with your income because it's not going up. The things lose value because of this. You could also say I'm paying an 8% put option fee on the whole system not breaking, which is exactly what they're doing because they need to refinance their debt. They shouldn't let the prices of assets drop too much. We can talk about that. But there is another way to look at it. And you ask yourself, would you pay 8% a year to make sure not a single thing breaks? Perhaps. You keep taking on more debt just to pay the interest on the old debt. That being said, why is that thing there? The answer is pretty simple once you know it. Every major Western government, plus Japan and a few others, owes more than 100% of their GDP. This includes the US government. Now, let's say that interest rates are always 3%. Yes, if GDP growth is 3%, then all of that growth goes to paying off the debt. Okay, the private sector, on the other hand, owes more than 100% of GDP and has to pay interest on that loan. There isn't enough GDP to cover it if both of them have it. In a sense, they've taken away the payments on the government debt by making money. That keeps the system from drying up. You did talk about collateral, after all. This is the money that is put up as security for a loan. The loan terms will be broken if the collateral goes too quickly or too far. You will be charged for this. That's all there is to it. That's what took place in 2008. So the best thing to do is keep the security from going down by making the currency less valuable, which makes it look like it goes up. In a way, it keeps the system from falling apart. Yes, in the second quarter of 2024, Bitcoin producers' net flow went down, so they sold BTC through exchanges. In the last 2 weeks, however, there has been less pressure to sell as miner stocks start to show signs of a change in trend towards accumulation. The chart shows that the miners' pressure to sell dropped a lot in August. This means that BTC might be able to stay in its current price range until next month. One of the most important reasons to buy Bitcoin has been the fact that global liquidity, or the amount of money in circulation, is starting to rise. The stablecoin supply ratio, or SSR, shows how much stable that can be used to buy Bitcoin. It works in the same way